Into the second round of matches we go now through groups D, E and F with Portugal, the French and even Romania up and running with an important 3 points, who of course will get their second win under the belt and maybe even secure qualification. We're going to get into it, all of it, next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today is all about Matchday number 2, part 2, of course, groups D, E and F. We've already done, of course, groups A through C. They're already up on the channel, so make sure you check that out. But in this one, of course, we bring you the heavyweights, including France, the Dutch, and even Portugal. We're going to get into all of it in a second. Of course, big shout out to the VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. And again, if you're new, smash the old subscribe. Your one-stop shop for Euro 2024 is right here under one Ruski. Of course, the likes of the Dutch, the French, Portugal, they're all up and running. Belgium have got it all to do in the second round of matches. Can they bounce back? We're going to get into it, all of it in a second. Of course, big shout out to the VIPs. And again, 50 likes on these streams here on the videos, if you don't mind. But we're talking about this, guys. We are talking about this. It is, of course, Matchday number 2, part 2. First and foremost, let's take a little look back at the results from groups D, E, and F in Matchday number 1. We did see the Dutch coming out on top with a 2-1 win over Poland. We saw the French coming out on top with a 1-0 win over Austria. Got a 3-1 in that one. Got a little bit rough around the edges. We did see Belgium lose to, of course, Slovakia. Big win for them, 1-0 win. We also saw Romania put down a benchmark with a 3-0 win over the Ukraine. Over into Group F, we saw Turkey beat Georgia 3-1, that one with a 2-0, and Portugal came out on top with a 2-1 win in the end. So not too shabby there. Of course, we do have a prediction league, and it is around about time that we brought you bang up to date with that. This is the link. Get involved if you can. It's still not too long or not too late to get involved with the party, but let's see who currently, after match number 1, is running the show. Of course, still very early days in the competition, but we do have a leader right now, and it's Costas K. He's okay, picking up 15 points out of a possible, I don't even know. Where am I? I think I'm struggling down here, 10.5 right now, but of course, it is early days. We'll bounce back. We'll bounce back very, very soon. Of course, summer 2018 up there in silver. Hans Wurst doing A-okay as well in bronze. It is early. Of course, we are going to jump into match number 2, part 2 now. So if you've already involved, make sure you, of course, get your predictions in for the next round of games as we look forward to it. And those next round of games are coming at you right here, right now. So first and foremost, let's recap. Let's take a little look at, of course, Group D encounter as we have the Poles up against Austria in what's going to be a bit of a spicy game. Both looking for their first victory, both currently rock bottom, that's right. But it's going to be a last chance saloon, you would imagine, for both these two sides here. Lose and you're probably out. But, of course, Poland will lock horns against Austria at the Olympic Stadium on the 21st of June. That's right. Poland, 83% form for them at the moment, just 1 defeat in the last 6. That was their most recent match. They are taking on Austria, also losing 1 match of the last 6 matches, 75% form for them as well heading into this one. Now, they've played each other 5 times since 2004. There's been 3 wins for Poland. There's been nothing for Austria. There's been a couple of draws, of course, and one of those draws was their most recent match back in September 2019 in Euro qualification, where Poland and Austria duked it out to a 0-0 draw. It's actually been back-to-back clean sheets for Poland against Austria, so they are coming into this without conceding a goal. In fact, they've just conceded 1 goal against them over the last 3, and that's all the way back to 2008. Of course, they opened up, of course, Poland with that loss to the Dutch, and of course, Austria did lose to the French. Of course, the odds currently right now, 29-10 is your Poland. Of course, the Austrians are 29-19 on for the victory and 5-2 to win the whole thing. I am backing, of course, a victory for Austria. I thought they were good, a little bit hard done by when of course taking on the French, and I think ultimately they were shot. They could have deserved a point in that match. For the French were very lucky with their own goal to give them all 3 points. So of course for me, big victory for Austria there, which of course could put Poland on the exit door. We'll see about that in a second. Of course, then there's a heavyweight encounter, one we're all looking forward to, I'm sure. One of the highlights of the tournament thus far. It'll be the Dutch, it'll be the French, and that's of course coming at you prime time on Friday the 21st of June. That's right. It'll be the Leipzig Stadium, of course, the Dutch with Koeman in the dugout and the French with the Champs. That's right. Now, coming at you, the Dutch winning 5 of the last 6 games, 83% form for them at the moment, up against the French side, unbeaten in the last 4, 67% form for them over the last 6. Now, they have played each other 12 times since 1996. We've got 3 wins for the Dutch, 8 wins for the French, and there's only 1 draw between these two sides. The most recent match was a 2-1 win for the French. They did, of course, qualify via the same group. The French coming out on top with back-to-back wins over them, scoring 6 goals goals in the two games combined, and that victory last time was back in October 2023. The odds at the moment for the Dutch are 11-5 for the victory. The French are 5-4 with the draw at 12-5. Of course, there is a bit of a conspiracy theory that a draw will suit. Well, it's not conspiracy, it's fact. A draw will probably see both these two nations go through, but realistically, there is still a lot to be said about that. There's more than just qualification at stake. You also want to win the group and give yourself the best possible chance in the knockout stages. So, despite the conspiracy theory, I'm backing the side here, and I'm going to back the French to come out on top with a 2-1 win. Puts the Dutch in a bit of a limbo land where they'll then have to take on Austria in what could be a battle for second place, and it could go down to the wire on that one. Let's take a look then over in Group E, and of course Group E is very, very spicy. Of course, we didn't expect this, did we? Now, of course, the final match of this match day number 2 will be Belgium up against Romania, but it's the first at the blocks in this one. Coming at you at the Köln Stadium, that's right, Belgium under Tedesco against Romania under Ionescu, that's right. 22nd of June, Köln Stadium, Belgium 67% form for them right now, of course, coming into this on the back of a defeat. Romania, though, 58% form for them right now, coming into this on the back of a win, and that was their first win in 5 matches, of course. They do have played each other twice since 2011. There's been a win apiece, of course, and of course the most recent match was a 2-1 win for Romania back in November 2012. Goodness gracious me. Belgium need to bounce back from that shambles against Slovakia. Of course, Romania just set us all ablaze with that 3-0 win over Ukraine, and of course the preparations for Romania are very much, you know, craziness. They've come into this on the back of 3 clean sheets, but the game before the Ukraine one was a 0-0 draw against Liechtenstein. Goodness gracious me. Where have the goals come? Where's that performance come from? But regardless, 3-0 win it was as well. This is going to be a difficult encounter between these two sides. Romania, of course, got the tails up. Belgium got it all to do, but realistically, it still could be in Belgium's favour. I think Slovakia just caught us all by surprise. A little bit hard done by the goals disallowed. But the odds here, 20-9 on is your Belgium, 6-1 is your Romania, and 7-2 is the draw. It could be a draw. This could end up being a draw, but I'm backing the Belgians to rise above it, get the job done, get the game, get the result moving in the right direction, and put them back in contention for qualification, not only as a candidate, but also back as a group winner. 3-1 win, that levels the playing field between themselves. Meanwhile, we hop over to, of course, Slovakia up against Ukraine. Of course, that match actually takes place a day before this one, so we kind of have some indication of what's going to go on in Group E. They have played each other 8 times in 2002. We got 2 wins for Slovakia, 3 for Ukraine, and there's been 3 draws, of course. Match taking place, though, at the 21st of June at the Dusseldorf Arena, with Slovakia on 75% form for them right now, winning 3 on the bounce at the moment. Again, very good football, entertaining to watch. And then Ukraine, 58% form for them right now under Rebrov, just 1 win in 4, not great. 58% form for them over the last 6. Now, of those last 8, the most recent match was a 4-1 win for Slovakia back in November 2018. That was in the Nations League, of course. Impressive performance last time around. Of course, Slovakia 27-10 for the victory. 11-10 is, of course, Ukraine, who are favoured. 23-10 is the draw. It has to be a better performance from Ukraine. But again, a draw for Slovakia will probably put them in the last 16, and I think they're going to be relying upon that. I'm going to go with a boring game, 0-0 draw. I know Slovakia were great. They were good against Belgium, very good with passing the ball whenever they had possession. But ultimately, I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw, which again, good enough for Slovakia, puts Ukraine up against it when, of course, they'll have to get a result against Belgium to be anywhere in this conversation to qualify from Group E. And then finally, we go over to Group F, and we have Georgia up against the Czech Republic, or Czechia, should we say, on June the 22nd. Of course, at the Volkspark Stadium over in Hamburg. That's right, Georgia and Czechia yet to play each other in footballing terms. 58% form for Georgia right now, just 1 defeat in the last 4. Up against the Czechia side, just 1 defeat in the last 6. 83% form for them heading into this one. That's right, Turkey did take care of business against Georgia in what was a 3-1 win for Turkey, but performance levels, Georgia were up there. They gave them a good run for themselves. And of course, that last goal was a little bit of a gimme as they threw everything at it. As for the Chechens, I thought they were a little bit undone by against Portugal. I thought a draw probably would have been a fair result. But not only did they lose this game, but they lost it at the dying minutes of the game. So important win for Portugal, but Czechia need to bounce back and bounce back fast. The bookies see this in favour of Czech Republic, 11-8 on for the victory. 4-1, of course, is your Georgia. 27-10 is your draw here. Now, of course, there's been a lack of major surprises in this tournament. I think the Denmark-Slovenia draw was a bit of a surprise. Belgium loss against Slovakia was definitely a surprise. I'm going to go with a semi-surprise here with, of course, I'm going to go with a draw, which kind of gives Georgia a little sliver of hope, but not realistically because they've got to take on Portugal in that final game. But it gives Czechia a lot of work to do to get into the last 16, where they'll take on Turkey in a must-win scenario game. So for me, going to go with a draw, point apiece. Not really does anything for Georgia, but it could be the first point of the Euros in their history. And then finally we take on, of course, Turkey against Portugal on June the 22nd as well, over in the BVB Stadium in Dortmund. Turkey under Montella against Portugal under Martinez. They have played each other 5 times in 1996, just 1 win for Turkey, 4 for Portugal, and there's been no draws. The Portuguese, though, 67% form for them right now, back-to-back wins, and then Turkey, 33% form for them right now. Of course, they needed that win. That was the first win in 6 now. The most recent match between these two sides was a 3-1 win for Portugal. It was in the semi-final World Cup qualification playoffs for Qatar way back in March 2022. Turkey's one and only victory was where is it? It was back in 2012 internationally. It was a friendly way back when. The odds on this one, of course, the bookies have 9-2 is your Turkey, 7-4 on is your Portugal, 10-3 is of course the draw. Portugal should, just like the big boys, the French, the Dutch, the Italians, maybe they got the win, but it was a little bit late. But I do think we should see a better performance from the Portuguese in this one. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win, job done, business-like performance, get it over the line and secure qualification, which of course will leave a bit of a scrap to see who will join them in the runners-up spot and maybe even the 3rd spot. That's of course my predictions here, guys. Of course, a quick recap of those predictions coming at you right here, right now. Of course, 2-1 win for Austria over Poland. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for the French over the Dutch. A draw between Slovakia and Ukraine. I think the Belgians will bounce back with a 3-1 win over Romania. Georgia and Czech Republic will duke it out to a 1-1 draw, and then Turkey will lose to Portugal in my eyes. Of course, don't forget, guys, we do have the prediction league. It's 100% free. You can still catch up with of course everybody else. Get involved now while you still can using the link cut.the/Euro 2024. But until then, subscribe, smash the like, catch you later for the next one. We'll be back for match number 3, part 1, whenever we get the games completed. But then of course we'll look forward to these guys coming back in action. Until then, subscribe, smash the like, 50 likes if you can. Until then, we are done.